important is diversity in the workplace to millennials? Well, according to a new survey by Deloitte and the Billie Jean King Leadership Institute, millennials see inclusion and diversity in the workplace as crucial to business success and competitiveness. Joining us today to talk about the survey are Billie Jean King herself and Christie Smith, both co-authors of the report. Ladies, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Billie, I want to start with you. What prompted you to engage in this survey?
Well, if I can just go back a little, my whole life has really been about connecting generations. Even if you go back to 1970, there was 9 of us that signed a $1 contract. We did it for the future generations. We weren't thinking about ourselves at all at that time, or else we probably wouldn't have the courage. And it continued through forever. And I also like when we have men and women and have people be inclusive. I always worked on that. And so I think it's very important. And so when we started the BJKLI, it was very important for us, before we decide exactly where to go, we need facts. We need to know what people are thinking and feeling. And we're so lucky to have Deloitte as our research sponsor. And so we sat down, and I'll never forget it, and at Teneo, which is our founding partner as well, and we sat down and said, okay, we have this opportunity to make a difference in the workplace. Let's discuss it.
And tell us a little bit about, Christie, about the methodology you used for this survey.
Sure. We developed a 62-question survey that we sent out across 7 different sectors in the market globally and asked them to fill out the survey. And we got just about 4,000 responses from that survey.
And what is different about this generation in terms of how they feel about diversity and inclusion compared to previous generations?
Yeah. So what we found, the greatest finding was that this generation fundamentally defines diversity and inclusion differently than Gen Xers and certainly boomers. They see this as more of a business opportunity. They see it as teaming. They see it as opportunities for innovation and developing new products.
So they go beyond just saying diversity is nice and a good thing to do.
You know,
they say it will actually make us all wealthier.
That's exactly, yes, that's exactly it.
That's exactly. So you know, when you walk in and you see, okay, we've nicked that box off. That's not what they're interested in. They're interested in knowing about you, about your opinions, your thoughts, how would you connect. They'll share questions with the world.
Right.
You know, because of technology, it's just amazing how you can share. And I love being around millennials because I actually think like they think.
Well, you know, we've
just
just been reporting they are the largest segment of the labor force now, the U.S. labor force. They've taken over. So what advice do you have then for employers who want to attract this very talented labor pool?
Well, Christie brought up something that 75% of the workforce in 2025 are going to be millennials. And I thought, Christie, I think you should talk about this. It's a wake-up call.
Yeah. So Billie and I are millennials trapped in boomer bodies. So we actually did this research in order to really prove out what was our own assumption, which was that millennials do see the workplace differently than the rest of us. And I think the implications to the workforce are huge. If you think about diversity and inclusion programs today, they have been architected by boomers, largely.
Right.
And those programs are quickly going to become outdated for this millennial generation because they simply don't look at the issues of diversity and inclusion the same way.
So let's go forward. Let's give employers advice. What specific things would you like to see implemented?
I think one is that employers need to engage their millennials in solving the problem. Crowdsourcing solutions are the #1 opportunity that employers have to solving the issues at work for diverse workforce, for their entire workforce. I think the second is this notion of intrapreneurship, which is for millennials to partner with the other generations in building solutions for their customers and their clients, and not being afraid to allow that employee base to innovate solutions and to engage in a very different way than they do today.
Yep. Basically, if someone's had very little experience, just been with the company for a moment, or someone who's had 30 years with the company, everyone has a right to have their voice heard and their thoughts and their opinions, because they're going to find solutions much better with more input from different types of people, different cultures that we come from. We come from a different place, each person. It's fascinating, actually, to see this evolve and happen.
Absolutely. Billie Jean King and Christie Smith, thanks to both of you for being here and talking to us about it today.